Welcome back to the Promotion on a Budget podcast, and today we've got a very, very special episode. I'm joined with Josh.
Hello.
And I'm joined with Tom.
Hello.
And today we'll be giving our team of the season on the championship so far. We've all gone with a 4-4-2, very standard, very basic, very championship-esque, as most teams do play, 4-4-2 with a bit of long ball. Stoke. But we'll get right into it. So
Whoa. You can't get straight. We need to have a discussion first. Okay. How have you been the last week? We haven't seen you in a while. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been busy working. I am one of those key workers at the minute that are still having to put in the hours. But I've been good. How have you been, Tim?
I've been very well, thank you. I've been enjoying my football recently. Yeah, that's about it, really. Josh, how have you been getting on, mate?
I mean, Tim, you're not going to mention the exam that we had last week.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we had a horrible exam. The questions just didn't make sense. So me and Josh have been labouring hard sorting that out, but we're back.
And quite frankly, I've been missing football because Brentford can't seem to keep COVID out of their club. Realistically, if you want to call a game off because of COVID, at least make sure it's because of COVID and not because your big players are out injured. Little old Reading, we don't want to be scaring teams like this.
And now moving on from that discussion, we'll jump straight into our team of the season, and I think we'll start with a goalkeeper. So, Tim.
So just to kind of explain how we're going to do this.
Whoa, go on, Josh, carry on, mate.
Let's explain how we do this first of all.
Sorry, Josh.
What we're going to do is each of us, we're going to go position by position, and we're each going to go with one player. And if there's a bit of a debate up, I reckon we'll come to an agreement on who we think. So obviously there's three of us here. If we say at the left back position, we've all gone for three different players, we'll have a discussion, we'll listen to some stats, and we'll come to a cumulative POAB team of the season. So we're going to have our
season, which will be my ideas.
We're going to have a POAB, POAB, Promotion on a Budget podcast, whatever you want to call us, team of the season. I think that's how I think it could make some.
That's fair. And obviously, people in the comments, if you've got disagreements, then you know where to put your disagreements. Put them in the comments
or in the
YouTube video.
Yeah, give us hate. Yes, that's why we do this.
Oh no, give Doeke a hate. I don't want any hate. Give Doeke a hate. Because you know full well he's got a full 11 of Norwich players incoming.
No, there's only a few in there.
Also, don't forget to interact with this on Twitter, because I'm sure we'll get this up on the Twitter. We'd love to know what other people think, because obviously This is three guys' opinions, one of which supports Watford, which on my screen is Tim down there. Duke's there, me, he's a Norwich fan, and I'm a Reading fan. We're three teams.
He's a Norwich fan.
Three teams in the top six. We're going to have differing opinions on what we think compared to what other people might think. We might have missed someone out. We might have made a controversial decision. Get involved.
Yep.
Easiest way to say.
Anyway, let's stop rambling and we'll jump straight into it. So, Tim, I'll start with you. Who is your goalkeeper in your current team of the season so far?
My team of the season so far, goalkeeper will have to be Freddie Woodman from Swansea. They've got the best defensive record in the league with, I believe, 14 clean sheets so far. So I don't think you can look anywhere else except from Swansea number one, Freddie Woodman.
Agreed. I've gone for Freddie Woodman.
Yeah, no, I agree with
that. 14 clean sheets, I guess, and he's just been quality.
Well, yeah, he's averaging half a goal conceded per game, which conceding one goal every 2 games is very impressive. I agree with both of you. We can't look past Freddie Woodman for this one.
I think I saw a stat. I think Swansea have the second best championship record at this stage of the season ever since, I believe it was Reading in 2006 maybe. So I think that's a testament to show how good the Swansea defence has been.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Speaking of Swansea defenders, I'm going to move on to the right back, and I'm going to go with my selection, which is the stunning, and quite frankly, he has been top class in my opinion, Connor Roberts.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about him. Good choice.
Yeah, he's got 2 goals and 5 assists so far this season, and has obviously played an instrumental part in that Swansea defence, which has kept so many clean sheets and has conceded such a small number of goals. I mean, 13 goals after 24 games is nothing.
Very impressive.
Yeah, so for me, he's kind of a walk-in. But what are you guys saying?
Go on, Doeke.
A different
Well,
point of view?
I've been very biased here. I've gone for Max Aarons, only because Max Aarons has been one of our standout and most consistent players this season. He's only scored the 1 goal, but his performances in game, you'll see, like down the left-hand side of teams, they will barely trouble us. Because Max Aarons in that right-back position has been absolutely monumental. He's just matured so much since he made his first start, and last season we were in the Championship. And where he got Young Player of the Year. And this season, he's just been so much better. And it's one of the main reasons why we're top of the league. He's just been consistently brilliant. He's just solid. He's just so solid. And you can see why Barcelona and Bayern Munich both wanted to sign him in the summer. But Tim, what have you gone with?
I have also been biased. And I've gone for the main man, Kiko Femenier. There's a few reasons behind this. I think watching him win week in, week out, is by far one of our better players. In a Starfield squad, he has really shone. We've also gone under the radar. We've got the second best defensive record in the league, which not many people have really picked up on. He's also got 2 assists as well. He got 1 yesterday.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a very nice assist. I would put it on the pub Instagram, but I'll be called biased. So, but yes, I've gone for him for my right back. Doeke, do you want to tell me who you've got as your first centre back, please?
Well, hang on. Let's have a little discussion and decide on who we're going at right back.
Okay, so we're going to have an overall team of the season.
Okay, I like that idea.
Yeah. So what I've got, I'm making some notes. We have the PLAB team of the season. And we're going to come up with a collective. We'll get a nice little edit done on this and we'll have that published as well. But so frankly, for me, I refuse to put a right back in the squad that is going to dive and cheat to win a game. So I will happily put Kiko Femenier in, but Max Aarons can jog on.
Oh, Josh, you're still salty happening in the centre. But to be fair, I'm gonna go with Josh. I'm gonna go with Mark Roberts. Was it Mark Roberts? No, it's not Mark Roberts. Connor Roberts. Sorry, I don't know where I got Mark Roberts from. But no, yeah, Connor Roberts has been monumental this season for Swansea. And if you go as a right back, that's a defensive position. You look at the best defence in the league, Swansea. So yeah, I think Connor Roberts has to be the man that goes in there. I don't know about you, Tim, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll back that. To be fair, he was going to be my second choice right back. So yeah, I'm happy to put Connor Roberts in as well.
He's going to be my third choice behind Femenier.
So, do we want to go one centre back at a time, or do we want to do both of them and then come to a decision on like 2 that are going to come?
Should we do both? We'll do both.
Right, go both.
Doeke, you kick us off then, mate.
So I've gone with Norwich's Grant Hanley alongside.
I don't you not to pick a Norwich player.
Alongside Ben Gibson. No, I'm joking. Alongside, I can't pronounce his name, but Guay, I think, from Swansea, who has been bloody brilliant. You know, he's part of that defence, kept 14 clean sheets. He's their main centre half and has just looked very, very solid. So I've gone with him and Hanley. Hanley, again, has just been brilliant this season. I think we saw this in the first season that Norwich signed him. You know, he showed that sort of grit of a centre half that you want to see, that sort of, you don't take any bollocks sort of thing. He's actually surprisingly quick as well. Not a lot of people that play FIFA would be like, oh no, you're joking, he's only got like 50 pace. But if you watch him in game, he outpaces near enough all the strikers in this league. It's really, really weird. He's been so solid for Norwich this season. He's been one of the main reasons why defensively we haven't been, don't get me wrong, we haven't been great by any stretch of the mark, but we've been a lot better than what we have been in recent years. I mean, if you looked at our stats when we last went up, we still conceded 60 goals. Yeah, for a side that won the league, that's ridiculous. We relied on outscoring oppositions. But, we've kept a lot of clean sheets this season. And he's been one of the main reasons for it. So I've gone with Grant Hanley and Guay. I'm going to say that's his name. It may not be. Maybe
we should probably done a research to see how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
I mean, we're going with Gueye, but yeah, he's been so solid as well, and yeah, just two solid centre halves there. Tim, what about you?
I have also gone for we'll go with Guay. We'll call him that. Yeah, as you said, he's just you can't not put a Swansea centre back in with that good of a defensive record. One of them has to be in there, and I just feel he's been the standout so far this season. And for the other centre back, I have gone for Paddy McNair. I feel that Middlesbrough have gone very under the radar. They've got the third best defence in the league. And he's one of those players where you recognise the name, you're just not really sure how he's getting on. And I think he's been superb for Middlesbrough this year, thriving under a Neil Warnock side. And yeah, I've got him in at my second centre back alongside Guayi. What about you, Joshua?
So I'm going to bring a new name to the table after agreeing with you on Paddy McNair. He's got 4 assists and has been a part of the Middlesbrough side when he's been involved. They've kept 9 clean sheets. They've conceded, I believe, 19 goals so far this season. And you can't look, again, this is another one, you can't look past a defender who not only has got assists going for going forward, but they're keeping the goals out of the back as well. So for me, I completely agree with you on that one, Tom, and he has thrived under Neil Warnock. But the newer name that I'm going to bring to the table, again, this is a slightly controversial one. He's not really done as much as someone like Mark Guehi from Swansea, but I'm bringing a Bournemouth centre-back to the table. Obviously, they've only conceded 20 goals. I'm going to go with Chris Metham. Now, he's got 1 goal so far this season. Okay, you look at that. Yeah. But then he's been putting in countless tackles per game. His clearances are quality. His interceptions have been high. He's statistically, again, he's kept the clean sheet, but statistically on an individual perspective, he has been very, very solid. But I think I have to go with what we both said, both. Between the 3 of us, we've said 2 centre-backs twice. I think we've got to go for them as the overall. I'll go with Paddy McNair and Mark Guehi. That's, I think, the simple thing to do here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. So we'll whack them in there. Right, moving on to left back. Josh, we'll start with you. Who have you put in at left back?
Again, a bit of an outsider's perspective, but similar to what Tom has outlined with Kiko Femenia, I went with the other side of their defence and went with Ken Sema. Now, going forward, Ken Sema he's provided 4 assists and has also, in the games that he's been involved, Watford have kept 7 clean sheets. So again, same as what I keep saying about all of these defenders, they're doing what they need to do going forward, but they're also being very solid at the back. It's definitely an outsider's choice. It's probably not the one that we're going to go with, but I felt that from my team, needed to include a Watford defender. Like Tom was saying, they've got the 2nd best defensive record in the league, and I couldn't look over that.
All right. So for my left back, I've gone with Jake Bidwell. 4 assists, 1 goal this season. Part of the Swansea defence stat has been incredible this season. So for me, it has got to be Jake Bidwell. His performances speak volume for me, and he's been probably the best left back in the league, in my opinion. Anyway, over to you, Tim.
I'm going to go for an outsider, and I'm going to go with the Barnsley left back, Callum Styles. I think he's gone quite under the radar. I've noticed his stats popping up occasionally on the timeline. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists in a Barnsley team that is overperforming, without being too harsh. I think they are overperforming, and he's been very key in their overperforming. He's done very well. So, yeah, that's who I'll go for. But I think collectively, who are we going to go for? Because we've gone for 3 very different ideas here.
I think, I'm gonna keep it with Jake Bidwell. I think he's been quality.
I was going to take a step off of Ken Sema and go down to Callum Styles. I mean, we've already got 3. I'll call the keeper a Swansea defender. We've already got 3 Swansea defenders. I think a bit of something different could kind of be nice. So I'd happily go with Callum Styles.
I'm okay with that. Obviously, it was my idea, so I'm happy with that.
work with you?
Yeah, go on. We'll go with Cam
You got to
Starks.
mix it up a little bit. I mean, obviously Swansea's record is ridiculous, but I think 4 Swansea defenders is maybe a bit excessive for a team of the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it as well in the sense that obviously, like you were saying, Tom, with Barnsley's performance so far in the league,
Yeah,
they're overperforming, but they're not. You can't kind of leave someone out like that. I think that's a very good shout. I'll give you full credit for that.
Okay, we're going to move on to the right midfield spot now. For me, there's only one player. And I know you might say it's biased, but it is Emi Buendia. Emi Buendia is, for me, the best player in the Championship. No shadow of a doubt.
Who's left? Yeah, we can say that.
He's he's quality. 7 goals, 7 assists this season. The bloke has got 14 goal contributions this season. He is incredible. He can single-handedly win Norwich games. And that's scary. There's a reason why he's got such a high price tag on him. There's a reason why a lot of clubs in Europe and England want him, because he's that good. There's also a reason why Norwich will not sell him, because he is probably the key for us getting promoted and for us not getting promoted. He's that good of a player. So for me, he's got to go in that right midfield spot. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one. I think Emi Buendia deserves his spot there. You're top of the league by quite a few points now, and he's been instrumental to that. So I'll happily back that for once.
I've gone with Emi Buendia as well. I mean, like you said, 7 goals, 6 assists. You can't look past someone that's performing like that. I don't think he's the best player in the league, though, but we'll come to that another time.
Ooh, a bit of a debate there.
We'll leave that for next time, but yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to the both centre midfielders that you guys have gone for. Tim, do you want to go first?
I would love to, Doeke. I have gone for, and this pains me to say it because I don't particularly like him, but I think he's been very, very good so far this season. I'll go for the Bournemouth central midfielder, Lewis Cook. Bournemouth's midfield has been ridiculous this season. Both Lewis Cook and Jefferson Lerma have been outstanding. And he pips it for me. I think he's been on the books for the England call-up card for multiple years now. And honestly, if he carries on playing like this, he will get an England cap. He's just been ridiculous. And for the other one, Josh will be happy about this. I've gone for Josh Laurent, the Reading guy. The stats don't back it up, but I think watching him play multiple times has shown he's a very, very good central midfielder. I know Josh can back me up with, he's seen him play every week. I think he's been ridiculous. So yeah, I'm going to go with Lewis Cook for Bournemouth and Josh Laurent for Reading. Go on, someone else.
Josh. Josh, I insist.
Oh, so kind. So I'm going to follow on from Tom picking Josh Laurent, and I'm going to pick him myself. The guy has been nothing short of incredible. He has been the missing link to Reading's midfield for so long. Since Andy Rinomhota broke his way into the first team, we've missed someone to really play alongside him. And those two have been a brilliant double pivot at DM behind what has been a very clinical front kind of 4, if you include the wingers, the cam and the striker that we play in our system. He, again, like we said, he's only got 1 goal and 2 assists. He has a 90% pass accuracy and has played in most games this season, if not practically all of the league games, I believe. And he just keeps us ticking. I mean, he had an incredible performance last season's FA Cup for Shrewsbury against Liverpool, and that was kind of where he began to get people watching. We'd started watching him by then, and to think that the guy came into the club and into the Championship on a free transfer, it would be criminal for me to leave him out. And then the other one I'm going to go with, and he normally would play as an advanced midfielder. I'm going to go with Michael Elise down the middle. And I just think that you can't overlook a guy he's 19. His talent is incredible. Like, he has quite frankly got everyone talking about him. I don't think there's a moment that Sky Sports have been on air about Reading and haven't mentioned this alleged release clause that he's got. I believe it when I see it. I think there's something there, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. He has openly said that he wants to see Reading go up this year. And with 4 goals and 8 assists, he has definitely been a very, very pivotal part of that. So, yes, I've gone with 2 Reading players, but for me, I almost had them in a little diamond in midfield. I've gone a basic 4-4-2, but for me, Josh Laurent and Michael Elise are my selections.
Right. The thing is, Josh, I've gone with Michael Elise on the left side of midfield for me because I think there is one centre midfielder that probably understandable has both gone over your heads, partially because he's just really, really underrated. But I don't shut up about him, and that is Oliver Skipp. On loan from Spurs at Norwich, the bloke is nothing short of incredible in the midfield. He wins absolutely everything. Every second ball is his. Like there's a reason to why our midfield is so strong this season. Anyone who is partnered to Oliver Skipp in that midfield, in that 2 centre DM role, is going to have a good game because Ollie Skipp just keeps things ticking. He's so good at what he does. Doesn't have the stats to back it up, similar to Josh Laurent, but Oliver Skipp is one of the main reasons why Norwich are top of the league at the minute. He has been phenomenal, and Spurs fans are absolutely loving his performances. He's got multiple man of the match awards this season so far. He has been outstanding, and I think it'll be criminal to not put him in the POAB team of the season. And the other centre midfielder I've gone for is Jefferson Lerma. Again, so what Tim said, the Bournemouth midfield has been incredible for this season. And it's a real show of what they've done this season. They've scored a lot of goals. Going forward, that midfield is incredible defensively as well. And that's where Jefferson Lerma comes in, more of a DM compared to what Lewis Cook is as more of an 8, more of a going forward type midfielder. But Jefferson Lerma has been nothing short of incredible for Bournemouth this season. So I think both warrant a place in my team of the season so far, but I think Oliver Skipp for me has got to make the overall team of the season.
This is difficult because we've got 5 different players. I think 5 different players to fit into 2 positions.
Now, what I'll say to Josh is...
Here's the debate here, though. Duka's obviously already said that he's got Michael Elise at left mid. I've got a completely different shout at left mid that I think would also be worthy of being in there as well as Elise. Hence, I put Elise in down the centre, which is where he naturally is. But if we cover left side first, we'll come to an agreement on left mid, and we'll come back to this centre mid debate. Yeah. So I think this is going to be the really interesting bit.
That's fair enough.
So obviously, Duka, you outlined Elise. So if you want to talk a little bit about that,
well, yeah,
and then I'll finish.
8 assists, 4 goals. Obviously, like you say, he predominantly plays down the middle, but can play on the wing. And obviously, because I chose 2 very, very strong central midfielders, I thought, I'll stick Elise on the left. And Elise has been absolutely phenomenal for you guys this season. He has been the main reason, similar to Buendia, is the main reason why you're in the playoffs this season. And I don't think you'll mind me admitting that. I think you'd admit that yourself, Josh. And again, he's one of those players that can win you games by himself with a bit of brilliance, a bit of magic, and that's what he offers. And that's why I stuck him on the left. Yes, it's not down the centre, but I think 8 assists, 4 goals kind of screams sort of a winger's type stats. So I've stuck him on the left.
Tom, who have you gone for out wide?
I've gone for the Blackburn and Liverpool wonder kid, Harvey Elliott. For his age, I think he's been absolutely unbelievable. His stats back up as well. 7 assists, 4 goals. He's been ridiculous this season. And as I said, for someone of his age to be putting up those sorts of numbers in a very strong league is ridiculous. So I've gone for Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, I've had to agree with you on that one, Tom. Harvey Elliott, you can't overlook a 17-year-old putting out those kind of stats in a Blackburn team, which at the start of the season were scoring for fun. Yeah. He's obviously got a very good striker in front of him. Obviously, the strikers will come on to shortly. He's got a very good striker in front of him. He's got some other great talent around him. Bradley Dack is obviously just kind of beginning to work his way back into that setup. I believe he was out injured for a while, but he is definitely someone that if he is fit for the second half of the season and stays fit, or even going into next season, he can change games single-handedly. He's got some great talent around him, but like we said, for those kind of numbers, for a 17-year-old,
yeah, you can't really look past the fact he's so young and
Yeah.
the stats have
Okay.
proven themselves.
Right, I'm going to put in an argument here. Blackburn
Okay.
aren't near the playoffs. They're not. They're not. They're mid-table, but they're not really. They're very inconsistent with their performances this season. Reading are in the playoffs and doing very, very well. And I think we've slightly forgotten that the fact is Michael Elise is also very, very young. He's also 19 years of age. And for a player like him who can single-handedly turn a game on its head for his talent, I think we've got to stick him in left mid. I know you've both gone for Harvey Elliott. And don't get me wrong, Harvey Elliott's had an outstanding season. I'm not putting anything past it. But I think if we're looking at team of the season, Michael Elise's got Reading into playoff positions so far. And I wouldn't say single-handedly done it. Obviously, he's been players around him, but he's been one of the main reasons for it, if not the main reason. And I think it'd be criminal not to put him in. And I think I'd put him in over Harvey Elliott.
See, this is where I drafted him in as my centre mid, because I thought that, but quite frankly, I think both deserve a spot. But this is where if you put Elise in the middle, then you're stripping it down to, okay, 4 different players to debate over one position. So who do we have? Oliver Skipp, Jefferson Lerma, Lewis Cook and Josh Lauren.
Whoa. Oliver Skipp.
That was the first one I said.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. Sorry.
Open your ears, man. Put the beer down. That would be the 4 players to debate over one position. Now, I think realistically, we've got to look at these 3 positions as a collaborative. Whoever we put out wide. So if we put Elise out wide, that you have to ignore Harvey Elliott at that point, which I think is very debatable. But you obviously then free.
I don't think it is debatable.
Calm down.
Okay, right. Hear me out. I'll try and find a solution for this. Right.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Right. You've both agreed that Elise deserves a spot. And me and Josh and Ducker, with some intent, has also agreed that Harvey Elliott just deserves a spot. So why don't we put Elliott on the left and Elise as a central midfielder, and then it just makes the other central midfielder position a lot harder. But
it does, and I agree with that logic, because I think...
Yeah, all right, we'll go with that. I know you guys both went for Josh Laurent, but I'm sorry, Norwich are top of the league, and they are top of the league by a fair bit, okay? And this might be me being biased, but if you look at Oliver Skipp, week in, week out, he has been phenomenal. He's played every championship game so far for us this season, and has been in man of the match for at least 5 of them. The way how he breaks up play, keeps play ticking. He's just that missing piece in the puzzle, and when you put him in there, the puzzle's fixed and it works beautifully. And I think we'll be criminal not to put Oliver Skipp in there.
I mean, I'm happy for Skipp to go in there. I think your main argument will be against Josh, considering Josh has watched Lauren every single week and knows how good he is.
This is where we're kind of at loggerheads, because obviously I've watched Laurent every week and I know how phenomenal he's been. He's watched Skipp every week and is saying how phenomenal Skipp has been. This is where you are literally debating 2 players against each other, where I'm a fan of one of them, Ducker's a fan of another, and Tom, in essence, you're going to have to mediate this, because I'm not backing down.
Josh, all I'm going to say this is no disrespect to Josh Laurent, because I think he's a class player as well. But we look head to head. We beat you 2-1. We look at league position. You're 6th with first. Oliver Skipp.
You look at the head to head. What team did we play against you? I think that's a completely null and void argument.
We didn't play that great a team, mate. We didn't have Tim Krul.
We didn't have a striker on.
We didn't have a left back.
A striker's the one that scores goals.
Yeah, we had an injured Timu Puku. We had Michael McGovern.
You can't.
Josh. Let's let Tim sort this.
He did nothing in that game.
Okay, right.
Absolutely nothing, and neither did Lawrence. So you can't argue on the head-to-head who is better, who is not. Because
did both of them play in this head-to-head? Did both of them play in this head-to-head?
Laurent played, yes.
Skipp play.
Did either of them make a significant contribution?
I think Lawrence defensive actions not offensive, defensively in that game stopped the score from being larger in Norwich's favour. That was my view on that.
Okay, so that's his contribution.
Similar to Skip. Skip probably kept us in the game.
Okay, so realistically, the head-to-head, you can't really talk about that because neither of them have made a significant contribution compared to the other. They're both equal. So we've got to try and find a balance as to, based off the season, who's been better. Norwich is top of the league. Josh is arguing has had better performances because let's just say Skip has had better players around him, but he has also been pivotal in how well you've been playing. Laurent has had worse players around him, but has also been very pivotal towards Readings. They were 7 points clear at one point. You've got to remember that. They have played very, very well, and he will be instrumental to that. So I think we're going to struggle to find an answer here. We may need the help from the comments.
See, I think I'm looking at Oliver Skip. I've got Skip stats in front of me now.
Right, Josh. Tim. Hang on. Tim. Right, let's do one thing. I think, look, Josh, we're never going to come to a final answer to this because I'm not going to drop Skip and you're not going to drop Lauren. So, Tim, if you could put on the Twitter right now, Skip or Lauren, and get people to decide on a poll, and then what we'll do at the end of the video.
I don't like this because your fan base is so much bigger than ours.
No, but we'll see. We'll just see because maybe other fans from other clubs might think Lawrence a better player. We'll just see.
No, we've got an external person here. We've got an external person here. We've got a special guest, which is our flatmate. Jack, you're probably not going to be too accustomed, but who do you reckon between Oliver Skip and Josh Lauren, who deserves a team of the season place so far this season?
Josh Lauren. Oliver Skip went for Spurs.
Well, he's an Arsenal fan. I don't count. Right, put it on Tim. Put it on the Twitter. Put it on the Twitter.
Put it on Twitter. We'll leave it up for. How long should we put it up for, Daka?
We'll leave it to the end of the video.
At the end, once we've done strike.
Has Oliver Skip dominated Liverpool?
Oliver Skip dominate. Well, he hasn't played Liverpool yet, has he? Well, he probably has for Spurs.
Josh Lauren has.
Well, as I was saying before the whole Twitter debate came to fruition, I've got Oliver Skip's stats in front of me. Right? So he's played 24 games so far this season. Started all of the games that he's played in. Averaged 87 minutes a game. So obviously he's kind of being bought off potentially to save legs. I'm ruling that out of kind of judging him on that respect. It's not like he's come on and he started games and been hauled off after an hour. He is playing practically the full game. So you can rule that out straight away. This is how I'm going on the process of elimination. He has not scored. He has not got an assist. So going forward, you can't talk about him in that respect, which I don't think we are really with him. No, which we're not with him anyway. I'm going systematic on this, Doeke. So just let's kind of go off of this, okay? So you're looking at interceptions. So I'll look at interceptions, tackles, and what else do I want to look at for this? We'll go key passes. So he's averaging 0.8 key passes a game, 2 tackles a game, and 0.9 interceptions per game. That's all statistical. I'm reading this straight off of what I use to get my stats. He's got other stats as well. 3 yellow cards. I think I'm saying that because I think Lawrence also got 3. So we can't judge people and break people up on cards. If I go over to Josh Lawrence now,
right, I think the best thing is
he scored. He has 2 assists. He's got 0.4 key passes, so he's got less key passes than Skip. Interceptions 1.3, so he's got more interceptions than Skip, and tackles 2.1, so he does more tackles than Skip. This is where I'm just broadening it out, and I've actually I think that's quite a balanced argument. I've taken leveled stats between both of them and said who's done better and what. Skip has got things over Laurent. Laurent has got things over Skip. I'm not backing down, and I know you're not because you're very passionate about your Oliver Skip. But let's move on to strikers because I don't think we're going to get to a resolution.
Yeah, we'll find out what the Twitter says afterwards. Yeah, but strikers, I believe we've all gone with the same. I mean, I've gone for Ivan Toney and Adam Armstrong.
Why?
Because they've both got 16 championship goals so far this season. They're both top scorers in the league. That's everything needed to say.
Fair enough. Yep, I'll agree with you on that one. I've also gone for Adam Armstrong and Ivan Toney. Both of them have 16 goals. Armstrong has 3 assists. Toney has 4 assists, which is ridiculous for this stage in the season to both have that many goal contributions. Very, very good. I think Josh might have gone for something slightly different though.
Yeah, so I have got a slight difference. So I agree with Ivan Toney. I don't think you can overlook someone who's who's currently winning the Golden Boot. My other one I've gone for, and again I've made my decision statistically speaking, is Lucas João. Now, he's been ruled out for a fraction of the season with an injury, but if you look at his conversion rate, he has got the highest conversion rate in terms of shots to goals out of everyone in the league. So that's where I've kind of taken that as he is doing so much better. And I think similar to what we said with Elise, he has been a massive spur into getting us forward. He single-handedly won us the game against Huddersfield on the 2nd of January. His 2 goals, that was his first game back from injury, which he was out for probably about a month, I think it was, if I remember rightly. He came back in that game and he scored 2 very, very cultured goals, very good finishes. Things like that have actually got Reading to where they are in the league. And like I say, he's got statistics say, so he's got 13 goals and 4 assists. Bearing in mind he'll have played less games than Armstrong and Toney, I think for me he had to be within a shout. But I completely agree with Ivan Toney. You can't ignore that man because he's too good for this league, in my opinion, and I'm not going to change my mind on that. Because Ivan Toney, I don't know if you agree, Tom. I think Ivan Toney has to be the first striker choice. That's the easy.
Yeah. I think
100%. Yeah, the fact that we've all chosen Ivan Toney shows that he is by far the best striker in the league, and then the stats just back it up. So yeah, I believe he goes into our team of the season with ease, essentially.
And I think Adam Armstrong just edges it for me over Lucas João. I'm not disagreeing that Lucas João is a bad striker because Lucas João is a quality striker, but it's similar to the Timu Pukki situation, like Cameron Jerome, players like that, going up to the Premier League. I just don't think they'll kick on. I think they are a championship striker. Adam Armstrong, however, I think, for a Blackburn side that aren't even, they score goals, but they aren't really pushing for the playoffs at the minute. I mean, they're in and around there sort of thing, in the mid-table. If they put a consistent run together, they could be there by the end of the season. But Adam Armstrong has 16 goals. He's been incredible, and I think you've got to go to 2 top goal scorers in the league for me, Ivan Toney and Adam Armstrong.
Josh has just quoted it, trying to get some Reading fans votes in there.
Well, I'll just get the Tottenham fans in them because Tottenham fans will vote Skip.
That proves
you've got until.
No, I will happily put Adam Armstrong in over Lucas João in that respect because obviously what we have also done is we've got a couple of honourable mentions, and obviously Adam Armstrong is in my honourable mentions. I again agree you can't overlook a performance like that. I wanted to put all 3 of them in, but when we said that we were going for a 4 in midfield, you had to kind of go with that.
Yeah, you had to restrict one striker, which is. But yeah, so we've got until the end of this podcast. The very last thing we'll do before we say our goodbyes is we'll look at the Twitter poll and we'll decide who gets into centre mid between Oliver Skip and Josh Lauren. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, it's going to be Ollie Skip because, quite frankly, I've not got a big enough fan base or following or anything to do that. So I'm looking forward to Doeke trying to go Billy Big Bollocks on this. And talk about how better Oliver Skip is when statistically he's not.
Well, it's 50-50 at the minute.
Let's honourable mentions. So I started off talking about how Adam Armstrong was my first honourable mention. Like everyone's kind of said everything about him already. 16 goals, 3 assists, pivotal for that Blackburn side. Then my next one is a very outside choice. So this is what I went for with this. I wanted to pick someone from the bottom half of the table. Someone who not necessarily is being given as much plaudits as they deserve. I think, for me, an outside choice for someone who has been instrumental over the course of the season for their team, Elias Chair. He's not going to get into the team of the season. This was my outside choice. I wanted to go for someone from the bottom half of the table who I believe has been incredible for their team. Not necessarily incredible on the grand scheme of everything, but Elias Chair has made such a difference to QPR's side. And I must admit, based on my predictions from last week on who would go down, that was before they signed Charlie Austin. Now they signed Charlie Austin, they're not going down. I'll openly say that now. They're not going to go down. I'm sorry. But no, Elias Chair has been phenomenal for QPR, and he has kept them to where they are. It's just a mention. So we don't need to debate it, but if next one, guys, if anyone wants to outline who they've gone with.
I'll take over for this one.
Yeah, go
on. Now, I've spoken to quite a lot of people regarding it, and I will have to agree with this. And it pains me to say it, but I have to respect the game. Dewsbury Hall. He's been ridiculous this season. And I personally believe if it wasn't for the strength in midfield that our current team of the season that we've got so far has been, he deserves a place in it. He's been outstanding. And yeah, I'll go with him. It pains me to say it, but I'm going to go for him. Docker, have you got a Norwich player as an honourable mention by any chance?
Yes.
Wow, could have guessed.
And that is Jakob Sorensen. And I think it's more that he's underrated and not given the praise that he deserves. And I think that fits into the bill of having, an honourable mention. He is a centre defensive midfielder. But he only started playing for us, I think it was about October time, late October, when Xavi Quintilla, our only left back, recognisable left back, got injured. And Jakob Sorensen stepped into place at left back, and he's played there ever since because he's just been brilliant. He's never played there before in his life. He's been really, really good for us. He scored one goal for us. And it's been really good for us. So yeah, I'd go with him. Fair
enough. Do you want to move on to your second one, Docker?
Yeah, I'll go with my second one. I'll go with my second one quickly. We've not got long left, but I have gone for Oviajaria. And I think he deserves a lot more praise than what he's got. I think he's really, really good. Again, similar to Elise, can change a game. And he just looks just like a really, really solid player. So I've gone for Oviajaria for mine.
Fair enough.
Tim?
No, I don't. I just want to talk about that because obviously he is one of my lot. I agree with why he deserved an honourable mention. Just as someone who's watched him, he's not quite seen the same animal that he was last season. But he, again, has put us in positions and done things that have got us to where we are. I don't think I can say much more in terms of that. Like he's been brilliant.
Anyway, Tim, what's your second one?
There's multiple candidates for this one, so I've really had to narrow it down. But I'm going to go for Gustavo Hamer, the Coventry midfielder. I think he's been ridiculous. I think he's gone very under the radar, considering Coventry have not performed amazingly. He's been solid, so I'm going to go with him. Joshua, what is your final honourable mention?
We've spoken about both of mine. Mine was Adam Armstrong and then Elias Chair, but Gustavo Hamer.
Oh, of course, sorry.
I'll speak on Gustavo Hamer really quickly first, because I think as I watched him play against us. Obviously, Coventry were the first team to inflict any kind of points against Reading. They took points off of us this season, and in that game he kept their midfield ticking so well. It was unbelievable to watch. I didn't actually believe it, and I mean he scored a couple of very, very good goals as well this season. But I can't look past just in terms of honourable mentions. Gustavo Hamer he was up there with me for Elias Chair, and I tried really hard not to look past him, he's been incredible, and I actually could see him transferring not in this window, but in summer if Coventry do slip off the rest of this season. I don't think he'll go back down to League One, or even if they're down and scrapping, I could potentially see him moving to either a team pushing for the playoffs or kind of even a mid-table side to give them that little boost further up the league. But he's a very, very good shout, and I've got to give him.
That's fair.
No.
Anyway, going over to the poll tin. Now at the end of the video,
he's rushing over. He's rushing over because he knows exactly what's happened, and this is why I said a Twitter poll is completely unfair.
Well, mate, Josh, if you didn't retweet quote it, I wouldn't have retweeted quote it, getting all the Spurs fans to help me out. So,
right. Since I'm the social media guru, right?
This is where I didn't agree with Twitter being involved, because this is our debate. This isn't the debate of everyone.
Oh, Josh, we're letting the people decide. Josh, we are letting the people decide.
Right, we've had.
Well, actually, it's my pen and paper, so I'm going to write Josh Laurent on there, because I think you're absolutely absurd for trying to tell me that he's not.
Before the video,
he is so much better.
Quick, mate. We've got the poll out. It's been under 15 minutes, and thanks to the help of quotes and multiple people from different clubs voting, not just Spurs, Norwich, and Reading. The results are, with 62 votes currently, Oliver Skipper's won with 56%, and Josh Laurent has got 44%. So
it's disgraceful. Like I said that we shouldn't have gone Twitter. He's not better. Statistically, Josh Laurent is so much better.
The stats have said.
No, the stats say that Josh Laurent is better. I'm not
Twitter stats. The Twitter stats. I've got them right here. The Twitter stats say that Oliver Skip deserves a place in the team this season. So that is who we're going to go for. Thank you, Twitter, for getting involved. If you want
we're going with Josh Laurent.
If you want to interact with our polls, up and coming, we've got the Power Podcast Twitter. That is going to be run by me in the future. We're going to keep it updated every single day. You'll get your championship news and polls and more. Doeke, where can they find us on YouTube?
So they can find us on YouTube, obviously, promotion on a budget. You can find us on Spotify, promotion on a budget. And go like the video. Go subscribe while you're here. You know, it's free and it takes up 1 second of your time. And
Less
trust
than
me,
a second.
That will be worth it. Also, tickle that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads of ours on YouTube. And yeah, that is everything I've got to say. Anything you boys got to add?
Also, I want people to, if they see this get to this part of the video, I want them to comment a controversial opinion, because we're going to be replying to our controversial opinions. We're going to make a podcast about that. I want to see your most controversial opinion on the championship so far. So put that down in the comment. Give us a tweet at our podcast. Yeah, we'll get around to it. Josh, anything else?
Josh Laurent walks over Oliver Skip. Quite frankly, will urinate on his grave. So, simply put, there is no debate. Josh Laurent's better, and I'm not backing down. Cheers for tuning in, guys. Doeke, you're an absolute snake for getting Tottenham Twitter involved. Didn't need to do that. He knew exactly what he was doing.
You quite retweeted it, so I was like, do you know what? I'll play my magic.
Yeah. I quite retweeted it to get Reading fans involved. You could have done the same to get Norwich fans involved. You didn't need to get Tottenham fans involved. But hey, if you want to play dirty,
I know the platform. It's fine. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching.
I've got Josh Laurent on a bit of paper.
And Oliver Skip's a better player. We'll see you guys later.
No, he's not.